Hello, welcome back to Madrona's Pulse Teachings. I'm Iris. Welcome to Sagittarius season. The sun is now in Sag, so we have some relief from this watery energy. However, the reason I'm making this video is to really chat with you about the next few weeks. So I'm making this on the 22nd of November. This is really the energy of the next 3 weeks, okay? And yes, sun is in Sag. Sag wants to expand. It wants to chase the horizons of meaning making and understanding, whether that happens by hitting the road in a road trip or weaving into your imagination and literally creating those worlds. It doesn't matter. It is about the expression outwards, which is what fire energy is always about, the action outward. And here, the passion and the joy that come from learning, especially when that learning is weaving your deep, dark, scorpionic truths and mysteries. This Sagittarius season, that sun is coming out of, you know what it's coming out of because it's been your depths for the past weeks. And everything that the water has been bringing up in you in that water trine, and it's not done. That's the reason for this video. But all of the insights, the emotional roller coaster rides, what you've been glimpsing about your own undoing. There is an undoing in the end of 2025, and it is deep and it is big, and not everyone wants to really sit and be honest with the type of undoing that archetypally we are being asked to sit with. And we see that when we don't want to sit with it, we project it outwards, and it causes all sorts of issues. And yet, as we sit with our witchy depths that have been opening, because that is Scorpio, and it is asking us to be with our inner cauldron and to let it be stirred. You know, that is really what this water trine with Jupiter, Saturn, and first Mars and Mercury, then the sun, now Mercury retrograde, also soon Venus, then Mercury direct. It is asking us to let our inner cauldrons be stirred so that you can reclaim it's not even the parts of ourselves, it's the essence. It's the essence that has been silenced, that has been unmet within yourself so that it can be integrated. And that has been going on for weeks. That is what this water trine has been doing. And now we're in a really new stage of it, in particular energy, which is just what I want to chat with you a little bit, because we have fire. We have a Sag. We also have Mars and Sag. They are wanting to expand, create, and there is still an incredible amount of yin water energy working with us over these next few weeks. And it also has different stages. So as we come into Sagittarius season, we come in with Mercury retrograde being in the exact water trine. Okay. So that is asking us to allow. It's a paradox. We got water and fire. You got water and fire working with you right now. Okay, it's allowing the parts of like the solar drive, the energy, the self that does want to begin imagining, implementing, dreaming up the stories, whether that's a story of your relationship or a story of your soul or a story of your business or a story of your family. It's a story of your life, okay? Stories of your life. And it wants to be dreaming, and that's the energy of Sag, and we need to let it dream. Yet it cannot skip or bypass or repress the ongoing water trine energy. Because this is not just Mercury retrograde and Venus over the next few weeks in Scorpio. This is Saturn, who is retrograde as I'm making this and is going to station direct at 25 degrees of Pisces on the 27th of November. And it's still Jupiter, who is retrograde and slowly moving out of the water trine, but is slow, in Cancer, who is recalibrating what being at home in yourself, what being nurtured in your life, what safety within yourself, what love means. And we're on a journey of recalibrating that. And it's the Saturn, especially during these next 2 weeks, that is big. And this is still big waves. We still might need our floaties on. And so, yet, it is about the messages coming up from your own underworld, your own kind of, again, we've been talking about this, about the wounds of intimacy, about what relationship even means, about how being in intimate relationship, yes, with other humans, but with yourself, with life, with Goddess, with your spirituality, how that is an essence of life that we need to acknowledge has been systematically and continues to be systematically silenced. Okay, from structures of power over, rooted in our patriarchal histories that go into so many other ways of power over, that literally become the structure of interpretation. That's why, you know, when we come to healing and reclaiming in a modality that has come out of the Western normative way of understanding, it's coming out of those very patriarchal structures that have silenced the wild, primal, witchy, earth-based spirituality, the understanding of what enough is, the true experience of abundance, the true experience of intimacy that doesn't need to be a consumer in order to feel self-worth, that doesn't need to follow a trend in order to have purpose. You know, that's the embodiment of earth-based spirituality literally interrupts and cuts off the very paradigms that society has been structured upon, and they are patriarchal in their core. And then they get internalized and turn into all these confusing messages. And this water trine, which takes us into other ways of knowing and being and like emotional ways of knowing and watery ways of understanding the self, you know, those ways of knowing, we're in Mercury retrograde with them. And it is talking to that recalibration of home. And it is talking to the Saturn's last 5 days of undoing the bindings of structures around your spirit, around your intuition, that connects you, just you, directly to source, spirit, goddess, creator, nature, that flame dancing there, the ocean. There's ravens outside cawing, to those cawings to Charlotte, who now has just taken up her spot and is purring. You know, that connects us to that way of being. And this water trine is asking us, and Venus is coming. Venus in Scorpio is coming to take up that spot, you know, and she's going to conjunct Mercury. And then Mercury is going to go direct at 20 degrees as, you know, Venus makes her way into Sag. And this is what's taking us through the next 3 weeks. But the next time, you know, that Mercury, when it's direct, and it's in this exact water trine, Saturn will be direct. And so we will be moving, integrating with a new rhythm. And when we're in water, it's just so important not to try and be in the future. If it's the emotions and it's the flowing, and we have to be in the present. And because the gift and magic of water is that when we're in the present with watery ways of knowing, the past is present and the future is present, and we are re-understanding Mercury retrograde our understanding of the past. And we are reclaiming the Scorpionic depths that recalibrate our sense of home and completely unbind us from the Saturn structures that are being dissolved. And then as we move in to the middle and to the first kind of end of the first week of December, mid-December, then we're moving forward. And, Neptune also is going to station direct. And so then as Mercury comes to its final days in Scorpio, it will be trine a Neptune direct in Pisces at the final degree of Pisces. All of this, of course, being the watery restructuring of your psyche, of your being, of your emotional presence and understanding of literally why you're here and what you're here for that's coming. That brings us into the February conjunction of Pisces, of Neptune and Saturn. But these next few weeks, it's water and fire. It's allowing within yourself the expansive creative drive, the passion that is Sagittarius season, the hopefulness, Sag has this beautiful, almost naive belief that everything is possible. But it's only naive when we look at Sag from a perspective that isn't the Sag embodied, because the way fire works is it's constantly moving. That flame behind me is constantly moving and responding to the elements. And the truth of fire does come from the moment of experience and action. And so in that moment, everything is possible, right? And the sun is taking us there to remember what is possible. And it's totally new horizons, both because of what all the outer planets are doing with us, but because that sun has come out of such a deep Scorpio season. As long as we are willing to look, as long as we are willing to listen to those emotional depths that are still being stirred. Because otherwise it's a sun and it's a Sag that is archetypally disconnected from its own inner depths, its own dark nights of the soul, its own truth of passion and love and intimacy. And that truth involves wounding and healing and complicated power relationships. And if Sag is not moving out of that, then it's disconnected from what's real. And then it's weaving, it is beginning to weave fantasies and getting lost in them and confused and getting ungrounded. And so that's where the depths of Scorpio and the honesty and the rawness there, that is what, that allows Sag to literally create new dimensions of reality. And that's possible for you. And it's part of the power of this water and fire energy. But it's also being mindful that you're working with both elements. Work with fire, have your candles, work with fire energy, and keep working with water energy. Because they're both very important to this closing out of 2025, which is bringing us in to 2026. And we will talk about that later, because this is where we are now. Okay, lots of love. Bye-bye.